I just had the impulse for this long overdue discussion. You see, for me, the so called age of Aquarius began, and I think it was around 2003, 2005, when I moved to this region in the world. It was actually after I moved to the West Coast that YouTube was invented, and for me, that was the gates of the new age because I was watching some of my favorite music and movies and conscious conscious expanding teachers for free. And that being said, I have to say that for me, my personal myth is that time is an illusion, and the Maya, my birth chart says I am guided by the power of timelessness. So for me, it's always the endless, timeless now. And I remember one time, one of my few somewhat famous friends in this area, because they were the second or third person to ever open a cannabis club. Actually, it's actually a cannabis growers and buyers club that has always remained only medical, actually. And I just got bit in the face by a dog, and she gave me a whole box of handkerchiefs, Valerie Corral, and gave me a hug and said, I guess we do get as many chances as we need. And I didn't understand what she meant at that point, but I think she intuitively knew that my spirit has had many incarnations, and that I was still going to get more chances. And so I believe that the whole YOLO and reincarnation both exist because you only have all of your personal angels and demons in this configuration in this body. And I remember my friend in Santa Cruz, David Bliss, and I were discussing it, and it came to the point where he said, "Now, what is time really? What is it? It's duration. It's what is the distance between the moment you clock in your job and the moment you clock out. For your employer or for the Black Cube Tech, it is units in a cube or monthly bills, weekly paychecks, hourly wages. But for someone like me, or for any successful, or any artists that have as much fame as they desire, or have as much influence as they want, they don't necessarily have to sign over with the Rainmaker or subscribe to a certain ideology or clock in. But perhaps they have to clock into their timelessness. Perhaps they have to overstand death. Perhaps they have to know or touch or taste or spend a few moments as a deathless person before they will have the courage to do their best, to put their music out. Something I've always told people, that the shamans and the Freemasons and all mafias, all gangs, and yogis of India all have in common, the tantrics. And that's that in all of those groups, they're one step ahead of the average bear, the obedient zombie, because they want you to be a solipsist, the television. No, if you were in a gang or a yogi or a shaman, You are taught that death is always on your shoulder, so you must do your best to live, do your best for the mission, because you never know. And when you learn to fly on the wings, and I think of my blood kin brother, who's a double Scorpio, flying off on his kite is a symbol of a person doing this in the physical sense for a healing. So if you can fly on the wings of the eagle, then you can experience something beyond the 3D reality, which is, I think, one of the whole points of this whole thing. So to summarize what I'm saying here is that the only time when I've done appropriate or my best work is when I was off the clock. That's when I rocked my hardest. That's when I made the most interesting music. That's when I said the things that needed to be said the most elegantly without having any psychic or psychotic verbal abuse coming out of my mouth or someone else's. That was all caused by the deception of separation and ego. But no, when the human, through meditation, through psychedelic or ganja experiences, through musician jamming and improvisation, through the trance drum beat, when humans touch the headspace of the timeless now, even for 5 minutes, they become someone who has experienced a multi-dimensional moment. You know, even if they had to be on the clock as a wage slave 40 hours or 70 hours the rest of their week. If they really, say, live in this town, for example, that I'm close to here, wanted to, or someone who had the chi to make the most out of their life, and they could perhaps, have 15 minutes a week that they attain the timeless bliss to help them balance the stress of being able to financially survive and the insanity of this financial climate. So, what I prescribe to everyone, no matter who they are, is how about 5, 10, 15 minutes a week to start out for your church to devote your moments to the sacred goddess or the oneness to Christ. Spend 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes with the sunlight, walking barefoot on the earth, sitting and meditating, breathe deeply, or just relax in the sunshine. Watch the ocean, watch the creek, the lake, listen to the birds. And then after you've done this for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes a week to begin with, observe how that helps your week. Because timeless, immortal bliss is your friend and perhaps our origin and destiny.